top flights are left in the quest for the Stanbic Uganda Cup title. Not to forget that the big wigs are in the race for the quarter-final slots in the CAF Champions League, and Uganda eyeing the honours and making history on the European Golf Tour. Not only that, the Australian Open gets the Formula 1 season underway. The odds for the FA Cup and the English Premier League are already on site, and as more, there are the big derbies, the Milan Derby and the Classique in the French League are. Welcome to the Just Darren Show, bigger and better, all powered by Betway.
Don't wait for the final whistle. Betway is giving you complete control of your bets with early cash out. Cash out before or during the game. Visit betway.ug. Navigate to the menu or your bet slip. Select My Bets. Tap on Open Bets. Here you will see your cash out offer. Tap on Cash Out and confirm your choice. It's that easy. Place your bets with Betway.
Now the Uganda Cup will have a new champion for the first time in 4 years. That's after Vipers were eliminated by Proline 2-1 in the quarterfinals after extra time early on this week. Now the result meant that only 2 teams from the top flight league are left in the quest for the Uganda Cup title. That is the Knockout Football Championship here in Uganda. Speaking of that particular competition, it is the side that is Express Football Club, obviously sponsored by Betway, and the other being Bright Stars, the only 2 teams from the top tier that are still in the quest for the silverware here as we do speak. The others include Chetume, who managed to eliminate Wakiso Giants via penalties. They did play out a goalless draw the other week and managed to win 4-1 on penalties, and also the other team that managed to make it to the semi-finals of the competition, that is Bright Stars beating Nebi Central 2-1, and those are the teams in the quest. But speaking of Express in particular, they last won the Uganda Cup back in 2007, and guess what? They are 10-time champions. They haven't played a final since. 3 years ago they were in the semi-final but were eliminated by KCCA, and now the coach George Semogerere feels this is the time for them to go and grab some silverware in a season that has seen lots of things change at the Wankulukoko Stadium. Well, obviously this season they've managed to add in some new players, and those included Brian Omonyo managed to score the early goal as they managed to eliminate Bull in the quarterfinals, and the youngster in Frank Zagato Mwesija on loan from Vipers Football Club, one of the key inclusions for the team as they bid to take some silverware this particular season. Obviously there are 2 games to play, however they turn out to be pretty much tricky for the teams, that is Chetume, the side that is Proline, Bright Stars, and the side that is Express Football Club in the semi-finals of the Uganda Cup. Not to forget that as well, there was a team that was summoned. Over 40 players was summoned to the national team that is gearing for the 2019 AFCON qualifier, the last group game for the Uganda Cranes against the Taifa Stars of Tanzania. That comes up later on this month, and of the players that were summoned, there is the interesting face, obviously, from Borussia Dortmund that has carried the headlines. However, he suffered with an injury, and the player in Bokon may likely not be able to feature for the Uganda Cranes in that line of defense. The Cranes as well preparing for a trip to Egypt where they will be camping before they do head to Tanzania. And some of the Uganda Cranes players are busy on the continent this particular weekend. Get to www.betway.ug and be sure to bet on players like Dennis Onyango. His side in Group A travels away to take on Wydad Casablanca from Morocco. That's a repeat of the 2016 final. If I do recall very well, Onyango recently had a masterclass of a performance as they did beat Maritzburg United 2-1 in the South Africa Absa Premiership. He won the Man of Match award on Tuesday this week. He should be gearing for more as they do head north. The other player is Emmanuel Okwi in Group D, where his club Simba do take on AS Vita, hoping to revenge for the 5-0 defeat that they did suffer in that one. And as well, you can bet on all these matches that do involve the Ugandans on www.betway.ug.
Introducing our new exciting weekly prediction game, 4 to Score, for a free chance to win up to $3,000. Simply pick the first team to score in each league from the EPL, Championship, League 1, and League 2. Submit your predictions before kickoff to qualify, exclusively at Betway.
Now, speaking of rugby, the Betway Cobs are 3 points behind the Hima Heathens with just only 2 games to go. The Cobs are still nursing wounds after that 30-14 loss to the Pirates last weekend. As it stands, the Cobs' hopes only hung by the thread heading into the final weekends, and that is later on Saturday, where they do take on the Warriors, and they will be hoping that they can win that one and perhaps keep pace with the Heathens as action does go on and the season about to wrap up in the 15th side of the National Rugby League. We will not talk much about that, and as well the bit of golf where Uganda is making history this weekend, because for the first time ever there is a Ugandan playing on the European tour. Can you imagine mingling with those stars? Well, it is at the Magical Kenya Open. That is the new event on the European tour where the Ugandan Philip Kasozi is part of that field there. And just to let you know that when I did check the site, that is www.betway.ug, the odds for Kasozi to win the Magical Kenya Open were at 617.5. Well, that's worth a risk for a punter. Do get to www.betway.ug and check out the odds for the different golf tournaments and much more. And well, guess what? I'm joined by 2 big social media wigs on set, not only to discuss golf and more, but the other different disciplines, including the football on the international scene. Now, do join me in welcoming B-Wall and Jude Mugabi. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
I hope you're let loose as we discuss your teams and your favorite sides of sport.
Yep, absolutely.
But let's begin with Formula One, because the season does resume this weekend. After a long winter period, we are back. By the which team are you going for this?
Ferrari. I've always been Ferrari, born Ferrari, will die Ferrari.
That's
absolutely.
ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Red in the blood.
Jude.
Yeah, I'll be going for the young pair of Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen for Red Bull. And I think they are more hungry and they will pose a good challenge.
Now, we've seen some changes in the rules. The team scoring extra points as the season will be starting. The drivers will be in Melbourne this weekend on Sunday. What's your pick on this one? Last season, it is Sebastian Vettel that did take this one. Are you still going for him?
No, last season actually, well, I would think that with the change of a few of the aerodynamics, the front wing has been changed. Now Ferrari has a very, very good car, and we have a young driver in Charles Leclerc who's ready to, is raring to go. Ferrari is going to be the front runner. Second, I think, will be, of course, Mercedes, and third will be Red Bull, mostly because they've changed their engine. Now they have that rubbish Honda engine, which I don't like.
Interesting. Well, no holds barred there, Jude. But I used to going for Ferrari. Last season, it is Mercedes still that went away with that Constructors' Championship title, but still also Lewis Hamilton getting his 5th title, where not many will try to leap eyes over him.
I think for the Australian GP, Vettel will come out on top, and the other 2 positions will be Hamilton and Verstappen.
Well, the order on www.betway.ug for the team that is, for the driver that is Lewis Hamilton is at 2.25, and if it is the driver that is Sebastian Vettel to take it away, the odd is at 2.75. Last year in Melbourne, the winner was Vettel. We'll be taking a break. When we return, the FA Cup and the English Premier League. I still have the 2 gentlemen here, Jude and Bewell. Interestingly, both of you are Manchester United fans. Am I right?
Fortunately.
Am I fortunate?
Yeah, you're
or
fortunate
it's
to have
interesting?
both of us United fans.
On the show.
Absolutely.
Fine. We'll begin with the noisy neighbours, Manchester City. They do take on Swansea in the quarterfinal on Saturday. 3 games will be played on Saturday, the other on Sunday. But Man City against Swansea. Jude, I'll begin with you. Is there any chance that City can take 4 titles this season?
I don't think they can take the Champions League. So there's no chance they're taking the 4 titles.
You think they can take 3?
Yeah. It's possible.
It's possible.
They're going to run over Swansea. There's no chance Swansea is going to beat them. So they still have a chance of the 3 titles. They've already secured 1.
They've already secured 1, the Carabao Cup. But Bewell, City won 7-0 against Schalke early this week. That was in the Champions League. We've seen them put 9 past the Burton. We've seen them put 6 past Chelsea. Don't they have a bit of hangover going into Saturday?
Yeah, and they've been posting some very embarrassing scores, yeah. And as a person who hates City, sometimes I watch their games and I'm in pain. But as much as it pains me, I think this weekend they're going to roll over Swansea. Maybe 8 or 9 goals. If Swansea is lucky, they may score one, but it's going to be horrible.
It's going to be horrible.
Very horrible.
Well, you can get to www.betway.ug. The odd for Manchester City to win that one is at 1.16, and well, for Swansea, just know it's a little higher. When you get to www.betway.ug, you should be able to check out those odds in the FA Cup. But still staying with the same tournament, on Saturday, Manchester United will be playing the late kickoff, East African time, 10:45 p.m. when they do take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves eliminated Liverpool at the third round. They won 2-1, and at the same venue at the Molineux is where United do head on Saturday. Biwal, I'll begin with you. You seem to be quite punchy with your support for the club. Do United get over this? Do they recover from the defeat they suffered against Arsenal?
Yeah, I think we do. 5 words. Ole is at the wheel. And I think the reason why, as a United person, I'm very confident that we shall beat Wolves is, one, Ole's winning mentality is infectious. It's gotten into the players, it's gotten into the fans, and somehow some teams get beaten before they even play the game. I know Wolves have had a good run coming into this game, and they're very good against the top 6, but that's a United win for me. That's a United win.
A United win as well, Jude. For you, I know you perceive the same thing.
Yeah, it's a United win, but it won't be an easy one. Wolves have the same record as United this year. Both have lost twice so far, but I think United need to bounce back from that loss against Arsenal, and that will be one of the motivating factors. And the FA Cup should be the easiest trophy for United to secure. That's where they stand the greatest chance to win. So they should be able to beat Wolves.
I'll still stay with you. The Manchester United midfield. We saw problems. There was sort of an imbalance in that midfield against Arsenal. Fred playing with Paul Pogba ahead, Nemanja Matic in that midfield. However, we are told Ander Herrera should be playing that one on Saturday. How big is he an impact in the middle of the park?
I think he's a big time player for United, and we've seen it a few games. We've missed him. We've experimented with a few guys, Pereira, McTominay in the midfield, and Fred. But I think he's coming back will be a huge impact for United, and he should give us the edge.
Behold, Wolves have beaten Shrewsbury, they've beaten Liverpool at the Molineux. Does United pick a result? And who should be your striking options in this one?
Shrewsbury and Liverpool are small teams. I'm sorry.
But Liverpool
fans, yeah, they're small.
Has
but
5 UEFA Champions League
who cares
titles.
about that?
United has 3.
We are the most successful club in England.
Okay.
End of discussion. But why I can understand why anybody would be worried that Wolves might beat United or whatever, and it's at the Molineux, which is the stage is set for Ole to kind of A, get the job, and then B, imprint his name in history as one of the greatest short-term managers. I know that Wolves has kind of had they have this threatening factor about them. Jimenez is banging in goals left, right, and center. But I know for a fact as well that Rashford is on fire. Lukaku is back. And with the news that our injuries are going to be fewer, I'm very confident about this one. Very, very confident.
Interesting stuff. Both of you gentlemen are really confident. The odd for Manchester United to win, though, is at 2.30. That of Wolves at 3.19. It gets closer if it is a draw. But a quick question to you, Jude. What's the impact of video assistant referee technology here? We've seen the impact in the Champions League. For the games in the FA Cup, it will be coming this weekend.
We've seen VAR. United wouldn't be in the quarterfinals of the Champions League if it wasn't for VAR. So I think for me, sometimes you have to get those small decisions right, and you don't ever know in that moment when it's needed. So it's welcome for me.
Okay, it's welcome for you. And we'll still stay in Europe and still in England, the English Premier League. Many are looking at the Premier League as the area where Liverpool perhaps should be concentrating, even if they've been busy in the Champions League. When you look at Manchester City, on the other hand, they are chasing a quadruple. We'll not talk the title race. However, when you look at the entire top 6 as it is, just 4 points separating number 3 and number 6 at the moment. When we are done with 30 games in the season, when you play the torch and look forward, 8 games to go, where do you see your United?
First of all, I'll admit there's been a shift in power. There's been, balance of power has been shifted. Now we are looking at City and Liverpool. Once upon a time it was United and Arsenal, and then there was a time when it was Arsenal and Chelsea. So yeah, admittedly, the balance of power has kind of shifted. However, I know also that Liverpool are perennial bottlers, and so are Spurs, which means at the very top I see Man City finishing topmost. Liverpool will probably finish second. Third, Spurs will have to work very, very hard, but they probably will finish third. And between United and Arsenal, hopefully United will finish fourth. And as always, Arsenal will play Europa. That's what it should be. That's what it should turn out to be.
Will Arsenal be playing the Europa? That's a question for another day. But quickly to you, Jude. Liverpool can get the advantage over Man City if they do beat Fulham at the Craven Cottage. The odd on www.betway.ug, by the way, is at 1.28.
That's
on Sunday.
Yeah, true. I think this is the weekend for them to. The pressure has been kind of on them after City went top. I think this is a chance for them to regain the top spot, and they have to beat Fulham to do that. And I don't see them struggling a lot. They will get the result they need to get on top.
They'll get the result. The other game involves Chelsea. They're odd at 1.94. They do visit Everton. That means a team from West London, Fulham, hosting one from Merseyside, Liverpool, and later on in the day in Merseyside, Everton do host Chelsea. But of the Blues there, the tough is against the Blues. Is it a game where you see Chelsea hitting the 60-point mark?
A few weeks ago, that game would not have meant much because Chelsea were kind of high rolling. But now Chelsea has fallen on a very strange patch. There's been, some infighting in there, and Everton seem to have refound their feet with Richarlison and whatnot. So it's going to be a tough one. I will have no problem if they drew, which is what I'm hoping for. I see a 1-1 draw at the very most, because Chelsea, well, as much as they're good defensively, they will leak one goal there or even two. So I see a draw in that game. Maybe I'm speaking out of sentiment, but that should end in a draw.
But a quick reminder of the table standings in the English Premier League. Manchester City out of action. They're in the FA Cup. They do lead with 74 points. Liverpool behind a point on 73. And then, well, in third place it is Tottenham Hotspur. They've only won one game. They've actually not won a game since February the 12th in the Premier League. They've only picked just a point in their last 5 on 61 points. Then the team that follows in fourth place is Arsenal on 60, Manchester United on 58, and then Chelsea on 57. But we'll switch the guns quickly because there are 2 big derbies in Europe, and I'll be getting the opinions from these 2 gentlemen before we do part ways and wrap up the show. Jude, I'll begin with you. PSG have rolled over every team in the French Ligue A. They do play Olympique Marseille in the La Classique, which is the El Clasico of the French League. But does Marseille stand any chance? They last beat PSG back in 2011.
I think PSG are still nursing wounds from their exit of the UCL, so this is the time to confirm that themselves as champions as early as possible. So I don't see Marseille beating them.
You don't see Marseille beating them? Well, before I'll stay with you and just give you a quick statistic. Mario Balotelli has turned tables at Olympique Marseille. He scored 5 goals, 4 of them have come at home. Last weekend he scored against Nice. Could he be the key factor? Could he be the man to give the impetus to Marseille when they do visit the Parc des Princes on Sunday night?
Yeah, and let's not forget that he's been having brilliant celebrations. Yeah. Scoring awesome goals and having brilliant celebrations.
I've seen some rugby players try it out.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, I don't think Balotelli will be enough to stop PSG from doing what they're good at, which is rolling over other teams in France. And as much as they kind of exited the Champions League in very, very unfortunate and disturbing circumstances, I don't think anyone in France can put their hands up and say, we are equals to PSG. They have a squad that is far larger than any other team. They have players that are more seasoned and have been at the top level for quite a while. Never mind the fact that the French top level could be questionable, but eventually I see PSG having a ball there. It will be a sad one for them, but they'll win it.
They will win it. Well, the joke remains in France that there is only one big team in the French Ligue 1. That joke came after PSG were abandoned out of the UEFA Champions League. It did go that the only big team in France is Olympique Marseille, the only team, by the way, to win the UEFA Champions League from France. We'll move to Italy quickly because there is the big Milan derby. Now, these are two old guards that do watch on the young children play. It is the big game at the San Siro, AC Milan against Inter Milan. Why is your call?
I think that game has kind of lost its spark over recent years because of the form of both teams plummeting a bit. But I think it's going to end in a draw.
A draw? The odd for AC Milan to win is at 2.30. Well, that for Inter Milan is at 2.98. Where do you place your money on www.betway.gg?
I don't know if I want to give away my money because those two are very unpredictable as it comes. You never know what's going to happen. They could show up on the day and it ends in a stalemate, or they could show up on the day and Inter Milan wins the game 4-1, or AC Milan could, rout Inter Milan. So I'm not going to put money on that. However, like he said, the two have kind of, they've lost the plot, so to say, in the recent years. And now, as much as the whole TV conversation is going on about TV rights and whatnot, I don't think there'll be too many people who will be watching that derby, mostly because there'll be other big games elsewhere. But I will put my money on both teams to score. Yeah, that for me should be a safe bet.
Interesting. And well, gentlemen, special thanks having you. I just want one quick question, and finally to all of you: does Zinedine Zidane get off a winning start at Real Madrid? They do host Celta Vigo at the Santiago Bernabeu. Yes or no?
I think some players are very happy to have him back, like Isco and Marcelo, and he's going to bring their dressing room back together. I think it was torn apart, and they should be able to get the win at Celta Vigo.
Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. Every new manager normally comes with good excitement, good gusto. So, he'll get his win. Not that will give him any reprieve or whatever. He's going to win that and probably lose 3 or 4, so whatever. But he'll win this weekend.
Shocking, but well, the work's done by ULN Lopetegui in the season, and Santiago Solari only left Madrid in 3rd place. Well, that's where Zinedine Zidane has formed them, the coach that did leave them 10 months ago. We are not leaving you. You can follow us on Twitter at BWall, at Jude Mugabi on Twitter as well. My Twitter handle at Allan Darren, and will be part of the conversation, the hashtag Just Darren. You can catch this show on Facebook as well as YouTube and be part of the conversation. We'll be sampling your feedback later on next week, and perhaps we'll be putting these men to task for whatever they've decided and whatever they've predicted into this coming weekend. Well, for now, just remember, it's just Darren.